Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to take a look at wall rides. Whether you're already a master of verticality or just getting to grips with stern stalls, the wall ride is an amazing way to progress your skills. It's exactly what it sounds like, getting your kayak vertical and riding it down a wall, usually on the stern. Before we get into technique, at least having a basic understanding of getting the boat up onto its ends is useful. So if you haven't yet started stern stalling, head back and check out that tutorial first. As you start to progress with it, having a solid cartwheel, bow stall and pirouette could be handy too, and I have tutorials for all of those over on the channel. The first thing you need to know with wall rides is what kind of wall is good and what isn't. Nature doesn't often make straight lines, which could make training for this skill in a natural river environment more challenging, but any large boulder or rock wall with a nearly vertical surface will do. Of course, you can ride rocks with a shallower angle to them, but it will be far more of a fleeting drive-by sort of action. When scoping out your rock, the two most important things are the depth of water, i.e. does the rock face continue at the same near vertical angle below the surface without any extra rocks that could cause a problem, and how much flow is there loading up on the rock. If the flow coming onto the rock's upstream face is too fast or powerful, you're more likely to get wet. The optimum is a steady, low flow, enough to hold you in place. Ideally, you'd like for the upstream face of the rock to be perfectly perpendicular to the upstream flow of a river, but it can work to have that rock face angled slightly off from upstream to downstream. As you'll see, for the purposes of demonstration, I'm using some lovely iron girders at the side of a river. One final point of safety with picking your wall ride spot. Doing wall rides in an overhung spot can be fine as long as you've scoped out where the flow is going, but don't mess with heavily undercut spots, especially if you're moving on to pirouettes or deck splats. In terms of technique, the wall ride has a few components: the approach, the initiation, and the ride itself. Judging the approach is one of the harder aspects of this move. It's a matter of watching the speed of flow and how it interacts with your wall. As in this example, aim for the spot where the flow is forming a cushion off the wall, then flowing gently along. This will give you the opportunity to ride left or right once you're vertical. Speed is the next aspect. You want to be moving at or below the speed of the water. Coming in too hot is likely to mean that you'll mistime the initiation stroke, which could cause a piton. As to initiation, this comes down to personal preference and what your chosen spot dictates as the best method. In some locations, you might find that a reverse sweep, more like a stern squirt, will be best. Elsewhere, a sort of reverse double pump might be the right thing to get your boat up on end. As a rough guide though, if you start facing up into the flow, a stern squirt style initiation will probably be more appropriate. But if you begin just off parallel with your wall, a reverse double pump will do the trick. Either way, as mentioned, you want to time and position this initiation so that as much of the hull of your boat as possible lands in contact with the rock face. The greater the discrepancy in angle between your boat and the wall, the harder you will have to fight to keep it there. Equally though, you don't want to go too far over vertical. It's certainly possible to recover from this position, but it's not exactly easy. Lastly, if you find that you've pulled the trigger on your initiation too early, don't fret. This is definitely less problematic than doing it too late. Just hold your stern stall and allow the flow to drift you down onto the wall.
Woo! I interrupt this tutorial video to just bring you a really quick couple of messages. First off, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate all the people who have followed along and consistently are watching my videos. And for all you new people out there as well, thank you so much for tuning in. If you feel like I've earned your sub, then please do consider subscribing. Second off, announcements. There are more tutorials coming. That's announcement number 1. After this wall ride tutorial, I've got a 0 to hero tutorial, potentially a back deck tutorial, a tutorial on how to use seam lines to do bow pirouettes, various other things in the works as well. So look out for those in the near future. The next episode in the My Broken Handrail series is coming soon, as well as the first episode in the Teaching My Wife to Kayak series, which should both be quite a lot of fun. So look out for those as well. The last thing, which if you've been following any of my videos recently, then you'll hopefully know about this already, is that I'm aiming to go to Iceland next month. That's all booked in, so hopefully it'll come about. But I'm hoping to film quite a lot while I'm out there. Some stuff for tutorials, but also just filming the experience. So please let me know in the comments below how you would like to see that content. Do you want to see sort of river guides in as much as I'm able to give that from one short trip? Would you like to see kind of classic raw GoPro talking my way through what I'm doing, just vlog style? Or would you like to see something more like a classic edit with some good feel-good music and all that sort of thing? Let me know in the comments below, or maybe all three, who knows? Let me know in the comments below and I will get on trying to do that for everyone. Thank you very much, back to the video. Whoop!
Once you're vertical against the wall, it's time to ride. Make sure that you are keeping your core engaged, pulling up or releasing gently on the knees when necessary to stay vertical. You'll find that the subcurrents will be pushing your stern towards the wall, but depending how you angle your kayak, it will have greater or lesser impact on you. The more perpendicular your hull is to the main flow, the more pressure will be pushing you towards the wall. Sort of like a kite catching and spilling wind, you can dip an edge to spill flow and prevent flipping over. Keeping a blade in the water for control is essential here, but I generally find that using just one blade provides greater freedom of movement than if you put both blades out overhead, as you might in a stern stool. This also enables you to bring the paddle down across your chest and perform these odd little forward strokes which can assist in keeping you pressed up to the wall. To traverse across the wall, all you have to do is use that same hip edge adjustment to carefully catch and spill flow, maintaining an overhead paddle blade to guide you down the wall. Once you've started to get the hang of this motion, you can experiment with increasing the amount of edge you drop to throw some splat tricks or pirouettes, or if you want to really show off your control, try incorporating a little rebound. Get out there and get experimenting.